What's up, YouTube? This is Tien bringing you a new video in the Atlas Strategy series. Today I want to talk to you guys about what my strategy is going into patch 3.5. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video for a couple reasons. One, I think there's just a lot of content to cover. The Atlas has gotten a big shakeup, as well as I want to talk about some of the old league mechanics returning and some of the new stuff that's being added. The other reason it's going to be a little bit of a longer video is I anticipate there being a lot of newer players because of some recent unpopular Diablo news. So, I'm going to cater this video a little bit more towards those newer players. If you're an intermediate player or advanced player that's kind of just returning to see, hey, what's Tien doing with his Atlas? Well, the TLDR is I'm going to be doing full Atlas completion, but not doing my 14s and 15s because I want to do a shaped Atlas strategy for those two tiers. And, the maps that I'm going to choose are probably going to be the more obvious ones, Trop Island, Waste Pool, Vault for my tier 14s, and then for my 15s, I really like Estuary, Spider Forest, Belfry, and Coves. So that's kind of what the TLDR version is, but let's hop right in to kind of the longer version of the content. So I guess first let me introduce who I am. I'm a softcore trade league player. I play 100% on stream, and every league I release these Atlas strategy videos, kind of one before the league starts, kind of saying here's what my strategy is, kind of not knowing everything yet. And then maybe 1 or 2 weeks into the league, I'll post a follow-up video saying, okay, now that we know what we have to know about our Atlas, here's what my Atlas looks like in the actual league. So I've been doing this Atlas strategy video series for maybe 3 or 4 leagues in a row now, and it's been pretty popular, and we always talk a little bit about new things that we discover, whether it's an Elder Ring or an Elder Square, or maybe doing tier 16 Elder maps versus doing shaped or low tier map farming like Burial Chambers previously. Spoiler alerts, you cannot do that anymore because Burial Chambers is now tier 11. But let's get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about the Atlas and some of the old league mechanics that are returning. So basically there are 3 league mechanics that are returning. There's Bestiary, Incursion, and Delve. And so if you're a newer player wondering what these league mechanics are, definitely play a league character. Don't make a standard character. These league mechanics are actually... think of them like beta test environments. Back in the day, they actually used to be beta test environments where, only a few players would go there and they would test out the new upcoming thing. And if it was popular enough, it was good enough, then it would get added to the core game. Well, eventually these beta test environments became kind of so popular that it just became the main game. So a lot of people now just play these new leagues, and then everything gets transferred over to standard. So that's kind of the history behind leagues there. This league, Betrayal League, has its whole set of mechanics with the Immortal Syndicate and what have you, but there's also 3 previous league mechanics, actually the most 3 recent leagues, are now being added to the core game, and so let's cover those right now. One is Bestiary. This was not a popular league when it was released. You had to throw nets. It was really awkward. The Master Einhar was actually really popular. He had some funny voice lines and stuff like that. But as it pertains to the Atlas, there's actually a couple things that makes Bestiary kind of unique. So in the very beginning, Bestiary, you can use it to maybe craft a Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline or maybe plug in some resist or stat gear. But towards the end, when you get some of the other recipes, the beast crafting recipes, you can craft really powerful aspects, but more importantly, you can craft Horizon Orbs and what are they called? Harbinger Orbs, which can kind of help you fill out your Atlas and either upgrade your maps by a tier or shift your maps around within the same tier. And those are really useful in terms of filling out your Atlas, which is something that you want to do if you're a newer player. The second league mechanic that is returning is Incursion. It's actually my favorite league of all time. I really like this mechanic a lot, and basically how it works is it's similar to Diablo Greater Rifts, where you do these like portals where you go in and no loot drops except for like passage stones that open up doors. But you go in, you kill all these monsters, and depending on which architects you kill, it shapes a temple that you'll encounter in the future. So you go back and you do 10 of these old incursions, and depending on what map tier you're doing, it'll kind of set the map tier for your temple. You know, the equation of this temple, I think, was like the average of the map tiers of your incursions plus 4, but it couldn't be higher than the highest map tier you've done. And so at least make sure one of the incursions is in one of the highest tier maps you can do. How these Atlas objectives will work is that they will kind of spawn as you're doing maps, and they'll spawn at least once per day. So that's just something you want to do. Make sure you can do those Atlas objectives. That's why we're doing full Atlas completion, is so we can do these Atlas objectives to encounter these old League mechanics, Bestiary, Incursion, and Delve. But let me talk about Incursion again. So, you know, depending on which architects you kill, you get rewards based on that. The important ones are the map rooms, because that will give you more maps and help a lot with map sustain. And there's also one called the warehouses, which can give you, you know, not just maps, but like old uniques and stuff like that. So those 2 rooms in particular are ones that you're interested in doing. Definitely try out all the different rooms, but those 2, just, you know, keep an eye out for those. There's actually some really fun rooms that, you know, you can double corrupt items, or you know, like sacrifice an item to the altar. Really cool league. Really glad to see it back. Anyways, the third league mechanic that's returning is the most recent one. It's the Delve League. And basically how it works is there's going to be a pile of sulfite in the map. You're going to go and you're going to hit that pile of sulfite. You're going to be able to then talk to Nico, who's the boss for that one. And then it'll take you into the delves. Basically, you want to just delve as deep as you could possibly go, stopping maybe to go sideways for like currency rooms, stuff like that. But make sure you delve at least down to delve level 270. There might be other rewards tied in with going deeper, but the reason I say 270 is because the monster level in there is monster level 83, and that's important because then it can start dropping tier 16 maps and below. So you want to get you know, deep down into the mines. It'll be kind of obvious as you start to do it why it's better to go deeper. Basically, there's more chests and stuff that you can hit. You'll encounter more cities and things like that, which can also have maps in them. So between these 3 league mechanics, I think it's going to be really easy to sustain maps on top of some of the new stuff. And so we'll talk a little bit about scarabs right now. Here are 2 that have been spoiled, you know, more divination cards, more breaches. I can only assume with 18 different scarabs and then 3 different tiers of those scarabs that you know, there's going to be a lot of different ways to help you sustain maps. I would assume there's going to be a quantity one, maybe a map one or something like that. So just keep an eye out for scarabs. It remains to be seen kind of in 3.5 how common these scarabs are going to be. You know, you're going to kind of mess around with your syndicate, getting the right master as the syndicate leader, and you know, that master will have certain scarabs attached to it. We don't know which master is going to be tied to which scarab yet. We don't know how many there are going to be. Just know that you know, based on what you do, the decisions you make in the Betrayal League, you know, whether you're telling somebody to betray, or you're letting them go, or you're killing them, it will affect kind of that end person, and those decisions you make will hopefully get you the scarabs that you're interested in doing, depending on if you want to farm div cards or maybe farm more loot and breaches or what have you. And so that's it right now. I want to talk a little bit about what I think are the best candidates or early candidates for Elder Orb use. You can't see it because my cam is covering, but Channel and Armory down here are going to be pretty good, I think. You know, Atoll Map being a tier 1, I think will be a popular one in terms of using your Elder Orb. Some early candidates are like Arid Lake, Pen Map, Beach Map, City Square, Jungle Valley, Fields, Volcano. Maybe even a new map like Fungal Hollow, Crater, or Glacier. We don't know yet if they're going to be good, but the elephant in the room is kind of Underground Sea. It's even better than it was before because you can use 2 white sextants on it. Assuming this map touches Underground Sea, the unique map is tied to the tier 5, so you should be able to use a white sextant on that. And Underground Sea just even got better. Shaper Strongholds, which were introduced in the previous patch, makes it easy to maintain an Elder Square. If you want to know what an Elder Square is, definitely check out some of my previous videos. I'll have the playlist for my Atlas Strategy series linked below, and you guys can check out what the Elder Square is. But, you know, ping-ponging that Shaper or Elder influence in order to get map sustain is something that I think will be pretty important in terms of map sustain. But maybe with all these returning league mechanics, it won't be as important in order to do that. So that's really it for the Atlas strategy in terms of what I'm doing right when the league starts. I'm going to be doing full Atlas completion in order to just chase around these objectives, but kind of not doing the 14s and 15s. I really dislike the 14s and 15s. They have a lot of phased bosses, Torture Chamber being a T15, Desert Spring being a T15. It's kind of a joke. But the tier 16s, I'm going to probably do those in order to get boss drops or something like that, at least get my Uber Elder down and get that Elder Orb so I can Elder Orb a different T16. And then maybe once the league matures a little bit, I will uncomplete my Guardian maps. When I say uncomplete, I mean using a cartographer's seal. You can definitely look that up on the wiki, but it's basically just selling 3 sextants and 5 regret orbs, and you just pulling the map off the Atlas and having only one map of that tier being able to drop. Okay, I know I'm going to have a lot of questions in the comments below, and this video is already getting pretty long. But I wish everybody some good luck in the Betrayal League. Definitely check me out on Twitch if you want to see kind of how I progress my Atlas. Like I said before, I play 100% on stream. I don't even make trades off stream or anything like that. So you'll be able to see kind of how I progress my Atlas and what we're discovering in the new Betrayal League. Good luck, guys, and see you guys in the next video.